And just before we start today, we have a couple of quotes that have been said by famous literary giants and philosophers that I'll read to you, and right after that Nalanie will come on and continue with the second lecture of the Gita. So the first one by Albert Einstein. When I read the Bhagavad Gita and reflect about how God created this universe, everything else seems so superfluous. Hermann Hesse felt, the marvel of the Bhagavad Gita is its truly beautiful revelation of life's wisdom, which enables philosophy to blossom into religion. And by Ralph Waldo Emerson, he says, I owed a magnificent day to the Gita. It was as if an empire spoke to us. Nothing small or unworthy, but large, serene, consistent, the voice of an old intelligence. Om Shanti.
So we will continue immediately with the Gita because we have a lot to cover, and I think it will take us minimum 18 weeks, 18 Wednesdays, minimum. Last week we covered the despondency of Arjuna, the warrior. There he is, he has to fight a righteous war, and by his swadharma. What is swadharma? His spiritual journey, his spiritual birth, his spiritual duty. He was born a warrior king. He didn't choose it. This was his role in life. And now he has to face this war of righteousness. But he doesn't want to fight. Why doesn't he want to fight? Because across the way he sees his family, and they're the ones that are arguing with him. They're the ones that are not correct, and they're not doing the right thing. And his family has suffered for 14 years. And when he came back to say, okay, now that we've paid our dues for our mistakes, you promise us back what we deserve. And they said, no. So the war starts, which we covered last week. And they're in the middle of the battle. And Arjuna is like, I just can't do this. I can't do this. Now, this is an allegory. It is what happens in our minds when we are confronted with a battle. And mostly these battles in our own life happen within ourselves, with our families. There are changes we need to make. There are changes, sometimes we need to fight in order to make the truth reveal itself. Sometimes we need to step back. When to do what? So he is very confused. He's confused. And in chapter 1, he's kind of saying, I really don't want to do this. It's better off if I die. I don't want any of this. Let them win. Let's just forget it. He's a coward. So in chapter 2, Krishna, representing the higher self in us, tries to arouse him by clearing his doubts. He goes, this battle, you didn't want to fight this battle. Don't be a coward. Come on, you're a mighty prince. But he teaches him, first and foremost, to remember who we are. So chapter 2, I'd like you to remember this word, is partly to do with Samkhya philosophy, in which yoga is based. Samkhya philosophy, can you say it? Samkhya philosophy, which also yoga is based. And what is the Samkhya philosophy? It is that ultimately we all have Atman within us. Purusha, they call it as well. So ultimately we're all energy. And isn't it interesting? The law of thermodynamics claims that energy can never be destroyed or created. Never be destroyed or created. But it can be transformed. And isn't it interesting? As a child in a Catholic school, I learned this prayer. Glory be to the Father, to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, and forever shall be. World without end. So here in chapter 2, Krishna is reminding Arjuna, you've forgotten. your energy. Soul is never born, soul will not die. And then in Sloka 22 of the Gita, in chapter 2, the Yoga of Wisdom, Samkhya philosophy, Purusha, remember you are soul. And what is the other part of Samkhya philosophy? Prakriti, nature. We're also nature. What exists in nature? Remember? Anybody?
Yeah, water.
Yes, we have the 5 elements, correct. What else? Gunas. And in the gunas, we have all the 5 elements of nature. And then we have the organs of action. We have the organs of feeling, like feeling, touching, all that. So in nature, we have all this in Prakriti. So he says, Samkhya philosophy says, we are both. Advaita says, we are one. For me, it's the same. I have asked many masters in my life in front of them, what is the difference? Because I don't see the difference. Because I think of what happens like when I paint. Any of you paint in this room or on Zoom? I have a blank canvas. So I see the creator has a blank canvas and it puts its essence into the canvas. What is transmitted is through vibration and light. So the colors are all vibration and light, right? You know that. That's why we wear white. That's why I wear white, because in it is all the different colors. That's why crystals contain all the colors, right? So the canvas represents that it is the essence, okay? The screen. And when, let's say, for example, if I paint on the canvas, I am using those elements of light, vibration, and sound to put on a canvas. Once I've finished, the canvas contains the essence that is me, but I'm no longer there. And that's how I got to understand Sankhya philosophy. There, yes, it's my essence, but I am there and I'm not there. Correct? So I see the divine in us like this. And this is Samkhya philosophy, Purusha. It is, the essence is within all of us. And he says in chapter 2, don't forget, I'm the indweller in everyone. I'm the indweller in everyone. Don't forget that. Okay? So, and now you are going through the process of Prakriti, where you have to face your gunas, where you have to face your karma, and that because your karma is being a warrior, there's obviously something you have to exhaust in this life. You have to, this battle's not fun, but sorry, young man, this is your problem. It's your karma from a previous life, so just deal with it, kind of thing. Don't be such a coward, just deal with it. So from 21 to 26 or 27, he tries to tell them again what is Atman, what is soul. And he says, just like casting off worn out clothing and putting on new ones, that which is embodied casts off worn out bodies and enters others that are new. Okay, so just close your eyes for a second. Just close your eyes for a second. And I want you to see yourself now. Inside your mind, go back in time. You were once a baby's body. Can you see it clearly? And then a teenage body. Then an adult body. And now in this time, in this body, play it forward. You will soon be old and the body will be gone. Don't worry, you will not die. This is the truth he's saying here, right here. Don't worry, why are you worrying? This is the truth. This is the absolute truth. Remembering that will keep you steady. Okay, and he tells us, weapons do not affect the self. Fire does not burn it. Water does does not wet it, and wind does not dry it. The self cannot be pierced or cut, cannot be burnt, moistened or dry. It is endless, all-pervading, immovable, and everlasting. I want you to remember that, all right? This has helped me a lot throughout my life. Whenever people hurt me, and we all go through this in life, some pain, or you go through some illness, or whatever it is. Everybody faces some kind of pain and suffering in their lives. And then I would say, Nalanie, don't get so attached to that pain and suffering. Remember, you're Purusha. Weapons cannot cut it. Doesn't matter what words they say about me, cannot affect my spirit. And then just saying that makes me smile and happy, cannot. So why am I taking this so personally? It is my karma. Whatever has come to me is because cause and effect. I must have done something and I'm getting this. Now I'm going to react to this now. How do I react? So it's really important to remember this. And he says, it's inconceivable. And he goes on. And he goes, whatever is born will undoubtedly die. Whatever is dead will be born. You will be born again, don't worry. If you don't fix it this lifetime, there's another one. Remember? The law of thermodynamics. Energy never dies. Cannot be created or destroyed, just transformed. So you don't get it this time around. There's no God punishing you. I just say do the best you can so next time you get a good life. That's all. If we're meant to come back. And don't even worry about, I don't want to come back to this earth, because even being attached to that thought will bring you back. Okay, so because many people in the Indian community, when they talk about, this life, next life, reincarnation, I don't want any more lifetimes, as if it's up to us. The Creator's got another canvas and we don't get it right. In fact, I think it's wonderful we don't get it right. We have many chances. Who knows, we may come back in an age where it's all Satya Yoga, where everybody speaks the truth again, because now we are in an age called Kali Yuga, where there's all this going on. But it's like everything turns, so the wheels of this earth will turn. And where it will take us, nobody knows. So the whole of the Gita is talking about non-attachment, right? It is not telling you, it's telling you not to be excited when things are too good, or depressed when things are too bad. Even keel. So he says, and there is the prayer again. Arjuna, beings originally are all unmanifested. At mid-state, they're manifested, and unmanifested again at the end. What is the point of lamenting? You're going to have many times, many lives. Glory be to the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, will be forever and ever. So look at your life as a play. And don't be frightened. Don't be frightened. Go to the next two. I'll jump to 33. He tells Arjuna, but if you don't fight when it's your duty to do so, you will lose your honor and incur sin. People will continually recall your shame. And for one who has been honored, dishonor is worse than death. The great charioteers will suppose you withdrew from battle out of fear. Those who thought so highly of you will take you lightly. And your enemies will deride your strengths and slander you. What will be more painful? If you are killed, you will gain heaven. If you are victorious, you will enjoy the earth. Therefore, rise up, Arjuna, resolve to fight. Now here, what he's doing is now he's appealing to Arjuna's ego. Okay? He's saying, come on, don't be so ridiculous. You're a warrior. You have a reputation to maintain. People trust you. They trust you're going to look after them. They trust that you're going to care for them. Because don't forget, this is a war of righteousness, okay? It's not a war because you just want to fight. It's to fight for what is right. After trying to do everything that is right after trying for 14 years to do everything is right. You've got to give peace a chance, right? Sometimes it takes a long time. You don't attack immediately without giving people many, many chances. But there comes a point when, no more, this is it. Fine, it's done now, okay? So he's appealing to him. It says, this to his ego, come on, get up. You can go, and many times this happens to me with patients when they have a problem in their life, and it's always with family, right? And one member is doing something that is very wrong, and they don't want to fight because it goes, my family, I don't want to hurt them. And then many times I go, but they're hurting you over and over and over again. Now what's happening? They're hurting you, and you're encouraging them to do this again and again. And you are hurting yourself because you're losing your confidence. You're crying all the time. You have no more strength. So you don't have God. You don't have peace. You don't have anything. You need to talk to them. You need to confront how to confront. In my own life, when somebody when I first started the path, and Gurudev said to me, you have to forgive, to confront. But I had to confront somebody who was battling with me, my very first experience. And of course, before you confront with somebody who's battled with you and broken you down, it is scary because your knees shake and you don't want to confront because maybe they're an elderly person in your family, which happened to be in mine, an elderly person, and you have to battle. Is it respectful? Is it not? But no, this is not correct. So after reading the Gita, I practiced in my mind, and this is the work of yoga. See, this is Samkhya philosophy, but it's no use philosophy if you can't put it into practice. So I worked on myself again, and by working myself, I also saw that I had a part to play in it. It takes two hands to clap. Maybe one is clapping louder, but the other one's also clapping. So I had to see my part in it, which is the ego never likes to see, okay? So I remember going to this person after practicing in my mind many times, and I said, I am not here to fight anymore. I am tired of you're right, I'm right, you're wrong, I'm wrong. It doesn't matter who's right or wrong. If there's anything I have done to hurt you, forgive me. I started with me first. And then I said, but I would like to say to you, without fighting, you have hurt me tremendously by doing this. And of course the first reaction of that person would be, no, da-da-da-da-da. They start screaming, right? Because they're going to point their fingers. And I remember practicing equanimity of mind, which is what Krishna is going to tell Arjuna how to do this, right? Just stick to my mantra. Stick to, I'm not this body, I'm not this mind, I'm Purusha. This person is attacking. I cannot take this anymore. I want peace. So after they finished, I said, well, fine. I accept what you think of me. I accept. So it seems that you can't accept what I am saying. No problem. I will see you less and less. No problem. I accept what you are saying. Now, for me, this was a huge battle, okay, to just be able to say that. And then I said, I'm walking out of the situation, which really upset the other person. I'm just totally, bye-bye, that's it, disregard the wicked, right? So you see, battles appear in different forms. This was my battle. And the only way I could battle, I'm not a warrior, right? I'm not one to take a gun and shoot somebody who's hurt me. Not my nature. My only way I can fight is with peace and love. And if that person doesn't want to make peace, and in fact, a relative of that person said to me, Nalanie, I don't want to make peace on my dead body. So I said to her very quickly, be it on your head. Be it on your head, not mine. I've given my hand peace. You don't want it? There's no need to go into conversation anymore. Walk away. Okay? But these are battles. Here, this is an allegory. I want you to, people get very mixed up. They go, oh, Krishna is asking Arjuna to fight this huge war. But it is the war of our minds. It is the war that goes on within us. Everybody I know goes through this war. But how do you detach from it? This is attachment, because you really, whether you think you like the person or not like the person, is still an attachment. I saw that, I learned through my own life with the Gita, I learned this so clearly. When you really don't like someone, you think about them all the time. When you really love someone, you think about them all the time. So I made a quick decision when I started this path. I am going to let go, and not the only way not to think about these people all the time. They don't deserve my thinking. They don't deserve it. Because I want to find peace, is to detach from them. Detach from all that they're doing, even if it's negative. Not my problem. It's not my dharma to fight that way. It's my dharma to walk away, which for them is the worst battle I could do. Do you see? So I want you to see this really clearly, so there's no confusion that arises from understanding this war, all right? This is what we have to do. So here he says, what do you have to do? Seeing the same in pleasure and pain, gain, loss, victory and defeat in battle. Just for the sake of it, you will be sinless. So he's saying, when you come to this world, you have these battles. So don't focus on loss, gain. Don't look for the results, in other words. These battles come, just attend to it. Just attend to it. Because you're not doing it because you want to hurt anyone. It's given to you. Just do it. You will become sinless. Now he says, you have been given the ideal of self-knowledge. Now hear the practical wisdom of yoga, by which, Arjuna, you can break through all the bonds of karma. He said, now I've given you the practicality, Samkhya philosophy, you are the self, that self never dies, don't worry about it, you're Purusha. I have told you that you come in a material body and this is your duty. So now, in order to fulfill this duty, you need to practice. And this is yoga. Yoga is the practice of these philosophies, all right? In these practices, no effort made is lost, nor are there adverse effects. Even a little practice of this dharma protects one from great fear. Even if you practice for one day, Gurudev always says, even if you feed yourself for one day or do hatha for one day, that one day you are good. Right? That one day of your life is good. So even if it's for one day, just do it. It's never lost. You cannot lose that practice. So make the effort for this practice. And it says here, now he talks, in this part he talks about the yoga practice, which is what? Keeping the mind steady. That's the whole of our practice, right? I love the Gita because nowadays, New Age philosophy, yes, you have to use positive affirmations because it's neuroscience and you have to rewire the brain. True. Not so easy. Not so easy. You can say, I love myself every day, but if you've been told for 30 years of your life you're stupid and you're dumb and you're not good enough, you can say as many positive affirmations you want. It's not going to happen in 21 days. Sorry. I'm sorry to tell you that. All these books, yes, it helps. It helps because it makes you, reminds you. Here, it's just reality. I love Krishna. He's telling Arjuna, this is the reality of life. Like Buddha, the Four Noble Truths, there is suffering. There's also joy, there's also peace. Don't be attached to any of it. One day you're happy, next day you're not. How many people, when they start meditation, tell me, oh, Nalanie, I'm so excited, I'm so good after 3 months, and then boom, 4 months later, what happens? They got attached to that. They say, I've lost it. No, it's a journey. You haven't lost it, you can't lose your soul. Your human personality lost it for a bit, but your soul you can never lose. Just be patient. Be patient. But then you get all this modern psychology that tell you can do it in a few days, and people feel that they're not good enough. Then they go, oh, Nalanie, why can't I do it? Everybody else seems to, maybe everybody else is pretending. Some people can. Some people get it like that. Very rare. 1 in millions, all right? But others take long because there's all the trauma that you have to go through and let go and purge out and understand. Like he has to purge out his karma by battling. We have to purge out our inner emotions by battling through them. We cannot escape and think by pretending. We take 1 weekend and we become experts. It doesn't work like that. That's why a lot of people don't like me. I say, if you really want to heal, you have to do it yourself. You have to work. And they like the quick fix. And there's no quick fixes. Sorry, I cannot offer any of it because it'd be such a lie. So he says in 41, if your mind is unsteady and wandering, many branched and endless are the thoughts and choices. When your mind is clear and one-pointed, there is only one decision. This is why I told you, and I keep telling you, make a decision. What is your goal in life? I'm not saying search for something that's going to make you happy for the rest of your life, because as you know, happiness will come and go, right? So what is your goal? And what have I told you? Make peace your goal. If you make peace your goal, then when you have bad times, okay, my work is to get back to peace. Right? That's my goal. When you're peaceful, you're content, then you feel that steady, calm feeling. And the more you feel that steady, calm feeling, you realize that when your mind goes everywhere, that's when you get confused. This is why I tell a lot of yogis, do you really want to practice yoga to be famous or to have lots of diplomas on the wall? Or do you want to practice yoga so you can live a balanced, peaceful life and be in touch with God, in touch with the inner self? What is your goal? For me, peace is being in touch with the indweller, the divine, that essence that was given to me as a gift. And that essence is bliss. It's neither happiness or it is neither unhappiness. It's just stillness. So make it very clear what you want in your life. Because if you make it very clear, the mind, when it becomes everywhere, wavering, this and that, oh, this person said this, like these people when they take so many yoga courses and they come back, they're more disturbed than they were before, because now they know they can't know everything. Oh, now this person talked about Purushatras, I don't know what it is. Now this person talked about prana and all these different aspects. You don't need to know all of this. Yes, you do if you want to teach. I'm happy to teach you. But that doesn't make you a yogi. You know, once Gurudev, and some of you know this story already, and many of you know Gurudev and been to his talks. And he took, one day he was actually telling me in Portland House when I lived there, he said, I took, 2 American disciples to India with me. And when I was there, my hostess was Indian, said, Gurudev, shame on your disciples. They don't even understand the Gita. And Gurudev looked at her and said, but they live it. That was such a cool answer. But they live it. She shut up after that. So this is, when you're calm and you're clear, you make all the right decisions. Okay, that's what he's saying. Don't go everywhere. And this is why I always say, when you have a problem with your family or in the house, don't tell everyone, millions and millions of people, because everybody will give you a different answer. And it will be so confusing. Follow the path of love, the path of peace. What brings most peace to everyone? What makes peace? Not me, but everyone. Because we're all one. There is the Purusha thinking. We're Atman. What brings most peace to everyone? And then you'll know which way to go. So Be one-pointed, one-pointed. 42. In flowery discourses, the unwise focus on the letter of the scripture and say there is nothing else. So, many different religions, many discourses we go to, and they actually focus on the scripture says this, so you have to do this. You know, many religions do that, right? You have to do this. If you don't do this, you're going to have a problem. You don't do prayers on full moon day. Oh, God is going to punish you. Who made that up? You know, you couldn't go to hell because you told somebody off today. You know, who made all this stuff up? So he's saying they focus on the letter, but they don't go into the depth of the symbolism of scriptures. With minds full of desires and heaven as their highest goal, they speak mostly of rites and rituals which they believe will bring pleasure and power. So many of these people speak of rites, and you've got to do this ritual in order to be pure, you have to do that, you have to do that. But really what they are telling you to is get more attached to pleasure and power. If you do this, you'll get this. How many times I've heard that in my life? If you do this puja, you're going to get this. Yes, you will get it, but you'll be more attached to it. It's another attachment. So he says, it'll bring pleasure and power. Yes, you'll get what you want, but is that really what you want? Those deeply attached to pleasure and power are not able to fix their minds one-pointed in meditation and in samadhi. So if you're looking for popularity, if you're looking to be famous, if you're looking right outside all the time. You know, you're not interested in the words I am saying, you're interested in saying who's there, who's coming, or who's here. Then your mind cannot be one-pointed, you cannot meditate, you cannot be clear because your mind is everywhere else because you're interested in what's going on outside. Okay? So that's what he's telling us. So because you believe it'll make you important. It's not about being important. It really isn't. It's nothing to do with that. So, and don't you want to enjoy samadhi? Don't you want to enjoy that still state? The Vedas discuss the three gunas, Arjuna. Transcend the three gunas and you will be free of the pairs of opposite. Ever balanced, free of wanting to get or keep anything, and centered in your true self. And chapter 16 of the Yoga Sutras of Sri Patanjali, as many of you should know, talks about supreme non-attachment. What is it? Transcending the three gunas. Don't worry. In the Gita, chapter 13, 14, 15, 16, we'll be talking about the gunas intensely, so you will never forget. And you will transcend it. Everything is from nature. You are pure, right? Blessed are the pure, they shall be still and know that I am. Moses asked this burning bush, who are you? What did he answer? I am that I am. What did he have to sacrifice? Isaac. I, the ego. Okay? To sacrifice your ego to find the inner world. Where is the kingdom of heaven? Yeah, so that's what he's more or less saying. 46. For those already enlightened, the scriptures are as useful as a water reservoir during a flood. I love this. I just love this one because, you don't need the scriptures once you're already enlightened. The scriptures exist for many of us who, it's like a roadmap for us. It's just like Gurudev said, it's a way to live. It's finding answers when you're confused. So until you get to the place where you're no longer confused about Atman and Purusha and the divinity, we need the scriptures. But he's just warning us, when you study the scriptures, don't just look at the letter, look deeper, okay? And don't study the scriptures to show people how for power or pleasure. It is to serve. serve, love, give, meditate, purify, realize. That's what it's for. It's a map. So live it as a map, all right? And in 47, as for you, do the work that comes to you, but don't look for the results. Here he's talking about what? Who can tell me? Don't look for the results. Do the work that comes to you, but don't look for the results. Anybody on Zoom can tell me? Yeah, non-attachment. No expectations. 100%, which is really difficult to do. Do not look for the results. Don't be motivated by the fruits of your actions, nor become attached to inaction. Well, this is really powerful. Don't be motivated by the fruits of your actions. So don't make you say, I'm going to do this action, for example, because I'll be liked. Or I'm going to do this actions because it's going to give me this money, or it's going to give me this. Don't be motivated by that. Maybe these things will come, but don't make that your motivation. All right? They will come. There's no problem. There's no problem with that. But if it's your motivation, you'll lose your center. Many people do. So politicians is an example, right? They start off really good. They really want to help their people. They really love them. But once they see all the money and they see all the lavishness, corruption, then they become corrupted. Why? Because they saw the results and then they forgot the goal. They forgot their goal, which is to look after people, the nation. They just got corrupted. But he says also, nor become attached to inaction. Now you hear a lot of people say, well, if our karma is already decided and we have to face a certain destiny, why do anything? Why bother? Why don't we just sit here and become lazy? That you also cannot do. And he'll explain this later, so I'm not going to go into it deeply in this chapter. Chapter 2 really is a précis of the whole 18 chapters. He covers a bit of everything, and then the rest of the chapters go deeply into each one of these slokas, all right? Equanimity of mind is yoga. Do everything, Arjuna, centered in that equanimity, renouncing all attachments. You'll enjoy an undisturbed mind in success or failure. Work done for the sake of some results is much lower than that done in mental equilibrium, Arjuna. Wretched are those motivated by the fruits of their actions. The one who has trained the mind to stay centered in equanimity in this life has cast aside both good and evil karma. Therefore, by all means, practice yoga. Perfection in action is yoga. Perfection in action is yoga. What does that mean? Be aware. Be awake. Notice the words you speak. Notice your action. Make every action yoga. Mind, body, spirit should be in harmony. If your mouth is saying something and your mind is saying another thing and your heart is another place, you can never find that peace. So let it be in harmony. Even when you're upset for the day, because we are living in gunas, let's say you have a bad day, you get up in the morning and you can see, accept, instead of saying, no, I'm not having a bad day, I need to do this, and you go out and then you pick on everybody else because you have so much pride. No, make yourself in harmony. I'm having a bad day. And this is okay to have a bad day. I need to make sure that my day does not attack somebody out there, causing them pain. What is the first rule? Ahimsa, non-violence, right? As you sow, you reap. So to be aware and awake is perfection in action. Admit you're having a bad day, close yourself in a room, get through it. Get through it. If you have 2 or 3, get through it. If it gets too many, seek help. Seek help. Because there's something intrinsically, emotionally wrong. And if you can't do it yourself, seek help. But if you understand this Samkhya philosophy and yoga philosophy, all the help is there available for you to help yourself. Okay? But you have to be in harmony with yourself. You cannot deny. You cannot pretend. You have to be totally truthful. What is your job in life? Be very truthful. So he says, so that is equanimity. He said, why does he say wretched are those motivated by the fruits of their actions? You know. You all know this feeling. When you expect something from someone or you expect something from something you do and you're disappointed, how do you feel? When disappointment's horrible, isn't it? Wretched, because you're expecting. So don't expect. And this is really the non-attachment. Sri Patanjali also tells us, in Sutra 12, Book 1, and the Yoga Sutras, what does he tell us? Practice and side by side. If you practice a lot, you meditate a lot, you do yoga a lot, you do all of that a lot, but you don't have non-attachment, forget it. You're wasting your time. There are many people today, they're doing positive affirmations, but they're not actually living the truth. You've seen it, right? So, he is being very clear. So he says, so perfection in action is yoga. Say it.
Perfection in action is yoga.
And this is why you hear in the Japanese science, they often talk about the tea ceremony. It's a practice, right? The tea, so they pour the tea very slowly, and then you drink it, tasting every sip. It's teaching us to be aware of everything. And when you're aware, your mind becomes very still. That's what Gurudev used to say to us, when we're practicing. He said, when you eat, don't talk so much. Don't talk so much. That's where you get indigestion, you get bloating, you get all kinds of digestive problems. When you eat slowly and talk less. Talk less. And where do we talk the most? When we eat, right? Yeah. So it's really quite interesting, right? Next one. Enjoying equanimity of mind, renouncing the fruits of their actions, free of the bondage of rebirth, the wise undoubtedly go into a stainless state. So you become pure when you practice equanimity of mind. When your understanding transcends delusion, then you are indifferent to things you hear about and things yet to be heard about. When you understand this world is like an illusion, and when you understand that everybody will have different opinions, like right now in our world, right? Pro-vax, no-vax, whatever. Everybody will have their opinions. You will not let that disturb you. You will stay calm in all these ideas that you hear about. And today you'll hear one thing, tomorrow you'll hear another thing, then you'll hear another thing. By listening to everybody, you will get so confused. So live to your own belief system. The truth will always come out. And some people have to die through it. That is their dharma. That is their dharma. We cannot let everybody influence us. Otherwise, your mind will be sick. It will be sick fighting. So he says, when you develop equilibrium, you can listen to everything, but you're still calm. And that's the state we want to be. So you can listen to this person's argument. Yeah. You know what you think. It's just a play. And then you're like, okay, you just listen, but you don't take it in. All right? You don't take things like gossip and all that kind of thing in a negative atmosphere. Once you've developed that equanimity, you can be in any energy field and it will not disturb you because you won't believe, you won't take in the negative, you will take in the truth. So if somebody is telling you about somebody else and it's the truth to help you, you will take it in because you know it's beneficial to you and they're saying it in love. Very different from gossip. but you will also make your own opinions, right? And example, life actions, you know, there's unrighteousness and there's righteousness. Sometimes we as spiritual people say, no, everybody is good. Yes, everybody is good, but not everybody behaves good. There's some people who are sick, so, stay out of their way. You have to know what to do. This is the inner war. This is the inner war. So when you, and I love this, when your mind, which has been tossed about by conflicting opinions, becomes still and centered in equilibrium, then you experience yoga. So you see your mind tossed, right? I want you to see the tossing. That's why I love it. I see the tossing in my mind, and you watch it. You watch it. Don't get attached to it. Watch it. Step back. Step back. And then you'll find peace. This is where the mantra comes in really handy. When you can't step back and you get really taken by it and you get really sick by it, use the mantra. The mantra will give you the strength that you can't get from your own mind. And this is why chant your mantra all the time. Chant it, chant it, chant it so you know it well. So now the next part is really very, very important, because here from 54 to 72, Arjuna asks Lord Krishna this big question in 54. Oh Lord, what is the sign of one of steady wisdom who is always calm? How does this person walk? How does this person talk? How does this person sit? And the blessed Lord answers him. A person who has let go of all personal desires and is utterly content in the truth of Atman, the true self, is one of steady wisdom. And one who has let go of personal desires. A person undisturbed by difficulties, who doesn't yearn to be happy, who has no favorites, no fear, no anger, is a sage of steady wisdom. Whoever is free of all mental attachments, who is not excited when good things happen, nor dejected when evil comes, is poised in wisdom. Which story do you remember when you hear this? Good luck? Bad luck? Who knows? Okay? Poised in wisdom. Good luck. Today's good. Thank you. Tomorrow's bad. Thank you. Who knows? Okay? Whenever one can withdraw the senses from sense objects, like a tortoise draws within, his wisdom is unwavering. So when temptation comes, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. And this is that sense. Lead us not into temptation. Where temptation comes from? Things outside of you. Things outside of you. So when these temptations come that can cause pain, what do? You withdraw. Take all your senses inside. You withdraw. Even if you have to withdraw from society and your friends and people, withdraw. Because you need to protect yourself. Stay away till the senses can deal with it. All right? Withdraw. Like a turtle does. You know, turtle does that when there's danger. Boom, withdraw. By abstaining from sense objects, they will drop away. Longing for them will also disappear upon realizing the highest truth. Now listen to this. This is talking about addictions as well. We're all addicted to something. Emotional addiction, alcohol, drugs, whatever it is. Nowadays, social media is a huge addiction. Telephone, oh my God, more addictions than I've ever seen in my life. So by abstaining from these, what do you have to do? Stay away from all the things that cause the addictions. And today I think social media is one of the worst ones. I mean, people are coming to me, oh Nalanie, I only got 500 hits. Really? What do you expect? People to be watching you the whole day? Yeah, I didn't look at my Facebook page, only 2 people crying. These are unreal. This is unreal. Which world do you belong in? Oh, they said something horrible about my dress. Anxiety attacks. Addiction, you see, it's an addiction. So stay away. This is how you do it. The person of steady wisdom will stay away from anything that causes them this addiction. And then longing for them will also disappear on realizing the highest self. So, 12 steps. You know the 12 steps? Alcoholic? 12 steps, the first one. Know that there is a higher power. Know there is a higher power. Here is saying, once you realize the highest truth, by itself the addiction will leave you. Because for a while you'll long for it, right? Even if you abstain, you will still want it. I'm not going to have it, but you'll still want it. Pratyahara, you'll still want it, because the desire is there. But when you see the joy of freedom without attachments, that joy is so great that you say, you know what? I prefer this great feeling of peace than this addiction. I'd rather be connected to the divine than to my lower self. That is what happens. And I love this sloka. This is where the 12 steps come from, Shubit. So, if the senses become excited, Arjuna, they will carry away even the mind of a wise person aiming for perfection. Be careful. Just because you're wise, don't think you can't fall into the trap. People get too cocky. Oh, I know so much. I've really got some peaceful time. And they get too cocky and they think, I know it all, and they'll fall. Be careful. But the yogi learns to control the senses by meditating on me as the highest goal. Again, what is your goal? What is your goal? Right? Make peace your God. As the senses come under control, the yogi's wisdom becomes steady. So the more you learn to become under control, don't let people affect you, don't let words affect you, don't, life, people will say, oh, what bad luck. Annabelle, that your daughter got sick and your mother got sick and your father got sick, but you managed to go through all of them with love. Stick to that truth. Stick to that truth. People will try and make you feel more sad and more bad. No, I done it. Thank you, God, for giving me the strength to go through these difficult things that are so difficult in life, one after the other. I'm so grateful for the strength. And she's still smiling, right? So, this is, and for me, this is yoga. It doesn't matter if you haven't achieved it, but just working through it is good enough. Do you see? Just working through it is good enough. Rome wasn't built in a day. To keep going back to the higher source. And to realize when you fall away and say, I need to get back to my center. Because my mind is so sad. I need to get back to my center. That is the practice, all right? So the more you do it, the more steady you become. Because if you brood, 62 and 63, from brooding on sense objects, attachment to them arises. Out of attachment, personal desire is born. And from desire, unfulfilled, it's not written here, but I would like to add that word, unfulfilled anger appears. When you brood on something, everybody knows this. You brood, I want this to happen. Why can't this person change? Or why can't my life be this? Why can't people change? Why can't the world be a better place? Brood, 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 brood. What happens? You become attached to that idea. And then out of that attachment, I have to make it happen. I gotta make it happen. And it doesn't happen. What are you gonna be? Disappointed, upset. And then you go, why isn't the world getting better? Da, 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 da. And then you get angry. When you're angry, what happens? You lose. You can't make sense anymore. There's no more sense in anger. And which then your memory gets disturbed. When you're angry, you don't remember the truth. How many times when I see relationships, when they're angry with each other, they only speak about the bad times and I have to stop them. I say, stop it right now. Stop it. I've done this to people so many times. Stop it, especially when I do family counseling. What about the good times? Why aren't you telling me about the good times? You are so angry that you've disturbed your thinking process. You think there's no good times, but I can tell you there were 100 good times and you only remember the bad times. This is the way the mind goes, okay? Anger confuses this process, then you lose your memory. When memory fails, reasoning is ruined. You lost common sense. You know, when your memory is not working, you're just remembering all the bad. This is victimhood, right? All the bad, all the bad, all the bad. You are not remembering the truth as it stands. So, and when reason is gone, guess what? One is lost, you're lost. This is where mental illness starts coming in. Disturbance starts coming. This is where a lot of people get mental illness and anxiety attacks because of anger, because of attachment. They want things to happen the way they want to. This is not life. We cannot control life. We cannot control anybody. It's not in our hands to control. It is only in our hands to accept. And like I say, for every problem there's a solution. With a strong and steady mind, you can go through the storm and there is always a solution. And sometimes that solution is not the solution you want, but it's a solution. Good luck, bad luck, who knows? Now you know why I love that story? This is exactly, and it's truthful. It is very truthful. Sometimes we strive so much to be happy, and then when we're happy, boom, we fall. And I'm going, but I was so happy. Don't get attached to that also. Oh, but Nalanie, I meditated so well last year. I can't meditate this year. Don't get attached to that also. Slowly, slowly, try again. 5 minutes every day. Because that attachment, you can't start again. You become weak. You become weak. The moment you put a wall in front of you, you become weak. No problem. I can start again. It all happened to show me that I just got overconfident or whatever it is. Or maybe this is part of my karma. I have to learn compassion and forgiveness. Maybe this is what I have to learn. But not guilt. Guilt does not work, all right? I would love you to go home and read Gurudev's wonderful translation of these slokas because they are wonderful. I'd also like to tell you that the Living Gita is now available on Audible. It's available on Audible. His Living Gita is available on Audible. I got mine through Amazon, so it's quite nice to listen to it with Gurudev's translations as well, because it is Gurudev's translations that really help me to apply them in my own life with my own story. And really, scriptures are there for you to apply them in your own life, in your own story. So I'd like to finish off by saying, never give up. Always fight for the good within you. Because when we listen to the good within us, that will never be lost. It will never be lost. But if you follow the negative with you because you're stubborn, because you're proud, this body is going to be lost anyway. How long are you going to be proud for? How long are you going to be proud for? You're going to be dead, proud and angry, or dead, peaceful, and have another lifetime that's full of, at least it's better. Because energy will go into a body that fits that energy. If the energy is low and angry, it needs a body that is low and angry. Correct? It can only transform into what it vibrates with. So with this work of yoga in our lives, we need to build up our energy to a good place, to a place of peace. And it's a lifetime or many lifetimes of work. Don't rush it. Everything, and later on, Lord Krishna will tell Arjuna, nothing that you do that is coming from a good place is ever lost. Ever lost. But what you do in a bad place is always with you. Remember the Chapati story? The good you do comes back to you. The evil you do stays with you. You know, if you do something evil to someone, the guilt will stay forever. Hard to get rid of. But when you do something good, you don't even remember, do you? There's nothing in the mind, you know. But you do good not for the sake of showing off, because you are good. And this is what Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna. You are good. You're not bad. You're not fighting this battle because you're bad. You are good. You are a good man. You're a good person. Remember that. And I know this job is horrible. It's not a nice job. Just do it. Okay? Without attachment.